Blitz Creek Pro Fishing presents Aquaview Smallmouth. Hello folks, Chris Hockley here from Blitz Creek Pro Fishing. I'd really like to thank you for stopping by my website and checking out my sponsors' links, and for all the readers who have found this link to this particular video clip from my columns. Right now we're down about 32 to 35 feet, and boom, there's a smallmouth. Now it's not quite that easy. Thanks for the video editing. I've actually had the camera down for almost an hour at this point, and what I've done is I'm pulling the camera across a shoal probably that's 7 to 10 acres in size, and this particular spot that I found with my Navionics chips inside my Lowrance graphs was just key. At this particular time of year, the fish are looking for sharp drops, edges, and it couldn't get any more textbook than it was today. You can see there's a few fish there. I'm approaching a ledge at this point, and we'll see it coming up here in a second. And keep an eye out. I didn't notice this until after I was checking out the video. You'll see on one of the bass here as we come up to the ledge, and you can see this ledge and how defined a drop it is. It literally goes from 32 to 35 feet into about 60 plus in the matter of about a 40-foot distance. And that's what they were keying on this particular day. They weren't on any of the other shoal that I could find at all. And I hit this edge. You can see it right there. It just turns black. You can see it go into the absolute abyss. There's nothing up above. It's just strictly flat. A few rocks here and there, which normally will hold fish. This time of year, it just happened to be right on that edge. Was what they were holding on, and as soon as we get over the edge, you'll actually see it turns into chunk rock and rubble. Again, it doesn't get much more textbook than that. I'm just going to point out here, you can see right there, that fish right there has a tag on it. It looks like a tag on the side of it, which was kind of an interesting thing to see afterwards. But I do have... the Aquaview camera is really interesting that it has a fish-shaped video camera, or the monitor down below, and it just doesn't spook fish. They come up, they're curious. In fact, a lot of times I'll find I drop it and you'll see fish come to it. You don't even have to go to them. They're just so curious. But look at this edge. Look at that. It just drops. I mean, does it get any more textbook than that? Nothing, nothing, nothing. Boom, the edge, and there's the fish. It was so exciting. In fact, the shaking here, I don't know whether that was shaking because I turned the camera sideways and I was dragging it that way to get a look as I went over, or whether I was shaking because of the excitement. It was dead calm this particular day, which was perfect for holding the camera down and doing this precise movement and holding, because normally you get those big waves and it makes it more difficult. You can certainly see it, just this precise kind of movement around a small area such as this. I mean, this edge, it's only the size of probably 2 or 3 of my boat lengths. And you can see the fish are all over. I was so excited. In fact, this particular day, I dropped a bait down afterwards. In fact, I think the fish at this point in time were feeding on shiners. There were big schools of shiners in the area, and when I dropped down it was actually a Berkeley gulp minnow in the smelt color. They just ate it up. It was great. But you can see it's 58, 59 degrees. The fish are still swimming up from the bottom at this point. We're almost about 55 feet. But with that temperature, the lake had already turned over. It was about the same temperature on the surface, and it was about the same temperature actually on the top of the ledge. But here's another interesting thing. You can see the fish coming up from the bottom. Look at that. There's a whitefish right there. They're swimming openly with whitefish, which surprises some people. In fact, I see it all the time when I have the camera down at this time of year. Predominantly cold water fish, known for deep water, and here they are swimming with smallmouth. The interesting thing here, I get the camera down. That's the last fish I see as I get down. I don't think it had anything to do with the depth. It was just strictly the bottom structure. That's where the rocks end, right there. And as I turn the camera, you can see it just sort of flattens out a little bit. Zebra mussel still all over the bottom, and just not the big rock and rubble though to the left that you see from up above. So what I've done is you'll see the switch here. As that was the last fish, I start turning the boat and I start coming back up again. And rather than cover it all the way, here we are just getting to the top again, and here we are on the ledge. And I looked and nothing. I mean, surely we all know smallmouth move, but it wasn't that. You know what? That ledge was the secondary ledge. If we get up here, it was actually this one that we're coming up to. And the instant we get up onto it, boom, there's smallmouth again. And they were just holding so tight to it. It was really, really exciting. Like I said, I could not believe the fact that when I dropped down, I got, one 7-pound plus and a number of other ones in, 3 to 4 range. But this spot, look at that. It just drops. It's so exciting. It was a lot of fun. You can learn an awful lot with these cameras. You put them down, you get that visual in your head of what you're actually fishing, and it makes it that much easier to pick apart and understand what you're doing. And what I've done here is I'm coming up to the top. We're just getting over the peak here now, and you can see it flattens out and nothing on top again. So quickly I turn around, turn the boat for one last look over it before I drop the line. At this point I was simply shaking. I needed to get the line down real quick. And we're coming up to this edge. You can see it right there. And again, you get there and instantly you can see this couple fish off the left. Another one swimming up to the camera here again. It's exciting. There's a lot to be learned. And you know what? It's just so much fun to have this footage that you can record. AquaView actually has a product. It's a digital video recorder that you can hook up to the unit, or you can just hook up a regular camcorder to it to record the stuff. This just happens to be convenient because it's on a small chip, an SD card. But I'd like to thank you for dropping by, checking out the video. Keep an eye out for more coming, and be sure, if you haven't yet, check out the webpage at blitzcreek.com.